I'm happy to be joined once again by Tony Gravely, who is getting ready to make his UFC debut when he takes on Brett Johns on January the 25th on ESPN Plus. Tony, how are you?
Doing great, sir. How about yourself?
Very good. Long time since we've talked last. It was actually right after you got that huge win on Contender Series. Very impressive victory at that. And now you got a very tough matchup in your UFC debut. Before we dive into all that, Christmas and the New Year has passed. Did you have a nice Christmas? Did you do anything fun, or has it just been very strict in getting into your training?
Actually, I had a good Christmas. Actually, I had this is kind of different from the way most people usually start out. The fight camp stuff. Actually, my wife and I and her parents, we all went to Disney World. We'd already had it scheduled before the fight, so went to Disney World, but it was still pretty tiring. I had to get up before we would go to the parks. I'd work out, and then sometimes work out when we get back. So um, we went there, and then we went to visit them in Nashville, and worked out there too as well. So it was a lot of traveling, but I still worked out. So I still probably, you would think, oh, it's vacation. You're supposed to be, vacation, but it wasn't really vacation. It was a lot of fun, but also a little tiring. Just have to work out, but it's a good to break away from like the routine, and it almost in a way, even though it's fun, it gets you excited to get back into that routine. But it's good to clear your mind and get away. You're constantly doing the same thing,
Sure.
and getting to clear and have fun and come back. It helped out a lot.
Now, what was your favorite ride? Are you a thrill seeker? Do you like doing roller coasters? Or my favorite from when I was a kid was the Tower of Terror. Did you get to do that?
Yeah, we did that a couple of times. I used to love roller coasters, and so when my wife and I we went to like Universal not too long ago. It was it's actually about 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, and we rode Hulk like 3 times in a row. And I was like, man, I don't know about this roller coaster stuff anymore. I don't know if I'm getting older. The reason, or just because I rode it 3 times in a row. Could be it. I think the older I get, the more I like things at Disney that are they're roller coasters, but they're not like too extreme. And I think the older you get, the more you appreciate the little details that are in like parks and things like that. So and I enjoyed it. We rode everything. They have the new Star Wars ride.
Oh, nice.
They have 2 Star Wars rides. We rode both of them. Those are awesome. And I think still my favorites are still probably Rock and Roller Coaster, Expedition. I think those are my 2 favorite roller coasters.
Sure. At the end of the day, we're all still kids at heart. So go to Disney World, Disneyland, wherever it may be, and it brings out that inner child in us. So I'm jealous. I'm glad you had a good time. Now, you did say that you went to Nashville. I follow you on Instagram, Tony Gravely 135. Nashville MMA. Is that the first time you have been there? How did that come about?
Yeah, that's the first time I actually been there. Actually, there's a guy named Angel Natal that I fought for M1. Um, I guess it was last year, and I know he's from the Nashville area, and I asked him, any good places to train, and he told me to go there, and I enjoyed it. I went there. Everybody was really cool. A lot of knowledgeable guys there. It was a good workout, and those guys are great. So now that my in-laws, they live in Nashville, so every time we go visit, and train those guys.
Oh, that's very cool. So now you got another place to go and get some good work in to get ready for your fights. That's awesome. Now, has anything else been different in this camp? Has it just been business as usual? Have you added any other training partners at your main gym, or have you just been kind of with your main guys as before?
Pretty much the main guys. Same practice partners at Tech MMA. Same people at Virginia Tech that I wrestle with. Um, Either way, it's always been a constant grind. Everybody's pushed me, physically, mentally, all that stuff. So constantly, the constant circle of going up. So I'm just looking to continuously build up gradually, and that's what I've been doing. So I've kept the same guys. Everybody's been pushing me, doing a great job. Everybody else is getting better as well. So they're getting better. I'm getting better. I couldn't complain.
Now, a week before you make your UFC debut, there's some guy named Conor McGregor who's stepping back into the cage to fight Donald Cerrone. It's pretty anticipated. A few people are looking forward to that fight. I'd like to get your prediction as to what you think will happen there in that main event.
I'm not sure. Everybody, are saying that, Donald Cerrone's getting older and he's slower, and they're talking about his chin, things like that. Either way, man, he's a warrior. No matter what, you can't count Cerrone out. So, and obviously we know Connor's very elusive. Um, he's got power in both hands. So I don't really want to call it, but it's gonna be a good fight. I know it's gonna be a good fight.
Now, obviously, Conor has made a name for himself for what he's done inside the cage. I mean, he's been phenomenal. He's won belts at 145 and 155, but also he's gotten a lot of attention for the stuff he does outside of the cage, kind of playing that heel role. And I've told you this before. You're one of the nicest guys that I talk to. You're like the good guy. You wear the white hat when you go in there. You're just not one of those guys that I can envision turning heel and playing that role. Down the road in your career, I'm just curious your thoughts on it. Like, let's just say, I mean, I talked to Rocco Martin previously, who's a UFC welterweight, and he was saying that Sean Shelby and them were going to cut him because he wasn't exciting enough. And then he started kind of talking a little bit of trash and changing his image a little bit. And now he's getting fights in the top 10, fighting Damian Maia. Is that ever something that you would even consider? Or would you just move on if the UFC ever said to you, I want you to change your image? Not saying that they would ever do that or that's what they did with Conor, but a lot of people are doing that nowadays to try and make themselves even more popular to the fans out there.
I don't know. I haven't really thought about that. I think somebody might have asked me that somewhere recently, but I mean, I feel like who I am is who I am, and if I have to compromise who I am as a person, it like hurts me down in my soul because I want to be as genuine as I can. I don't want to have to put on like a mask and act like I'm something other than what I am. I'd rather people love me for me, or either not love me and not be who I am, than to act like constantly put on like and act like I'm somebody bad guy just to get attention and have people. So, I feel like I would like to say that I would, stay who I am regardless. Uh, hopefully, I think people like me because I am genuine. But we get down the road, people might get tired of me being the nice guy. I don't know. Hopefully I won't have to get, I won't have to get in that. I'm hoping that I keep building fan support by being genuine, being the nice guy. I'm the nice guy, but I can also hurt people as well. So that kind of plays the bad role for me.
Yeah. Well, you've made that very clear in the past, just watching you fight, and you clearly are all about respect, just as your hoodie that you're wearing right now says. So kudos to you, my friend. Now, this fight will be in North Carolina. It's not too far from where you live in Virginia. I believe you said 2 hours before from where you live. You said that to me before we went live here. Are you expecting a lot of family and friends and everyone to travel down there to support you for this fight?
There are going to be a ton of people. Even before, I've had UFC fights. I was in the UFC. I've fought a couple of times. I very seldom get to be the hometown guy because I'm always going up. I always had to go up north to fight. So, but when I would fight in North Carolina, I'd have, 200 people maybe come to watch me. That was just like a regional fight. So I feel like people wanna they're people are just excited as I am about me fighting the UFC and making my debut close. That I feel like pretty much everybody from my hometown, Martinsville, Henry County, pretty much everybody's gonna be there. I've got a lot of buddies I wrestled in college that are from North Carolina. They're gonna be there, so it's gonna be a ton of people. I'm expecting to be the most people I've ever had at a fight, and I think the most used to be when I would sell tickets in hand, it'd be like 150 or so, just me selling tickets. Like I meet people, I sell the tickets. So now, and now that I'm not actually fighting somebody in North Carolina, all these people are gonna like, oh yeah, you remember Tony, and they're gonna want to come and watch me fight. So I'm excited. I can't wait to see everybody there. Every time I get to be the hometown guy and get people, it's an amazing feeling just to for people to genuinely genuinely be excited for you and to watch, just to watch you do well and they cheer for you. Um, it's we as fighters, we think, like I used to think that, I'm a fighter, go out there and fight. My job is to go out there and win and fight, but we also forget that we're also entertainers. So, people they pay good money to fight. They want to be entertained. So, obviously, I'm looking to go out there and entertain. Not, I'm not a flashy fighter. I feel like the way I fight is entertaining. So, I'm looking to keep pushing the pace, be aggressive like I always am, and keep pushing until I break my opponent and finish them.
Do you feel like with all of the people that will be there on fight night to support you, it would put more pressure on you to go out there and perform? I know some guys like to go, into someone else's hometown and kind of play the role of, not having everyone there to support them, and that's when they perform their best. Does that matter to you?
No, absolutely not. I think it's the opposite for me. I'm so used to being away, and if you can go into I think if you can go into somebody's hometown and face all the adversity and hear the boos and all that stuff, and you can still do great, then when you got the opposite, people like pumping you up, like it's the exact opposite. And for me, I don't feel pressure coming in. For me, I get lifted from all the people's positive vibes. And I was my buddy Ronnie from our gym. He told me you should only feel pressured when you're asked to do something you're not prepared to do. So I'm more than willing and prepared to go out there and lay it all on the line for everybody. So regardless, whether I have one person or 1,000 people, I want to win. Regardless, and I'm gonna give it my all. It's gonna be a good night.
Now, obviously, you're focused on fighting your opponent, Brett Johns, but as you know, MMA is a very finicky game. Guys can get injured. There could be an issue with the weight cut. There is another bantamweight bout on that very card. Aljamain Sterling is fighting Felipe Colares, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. Worst case scenario, if something happened to your opponent or if something happened in that fight and they needed someone to step up, would that be something that you would obviously do to, obviously stay in like Dana White and then the UFC brass's good graces, or would you be a little bit more cautious with, accepting a fight on short notice when maybe you didn't prepare for a specific fighter?
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm usually, I'm always down to fight anybody. So I feel like as I prepare for fights, I don't always prepare for. You look at people and you prepare for how they're gonna fight and you get an idea, but I don't change what I do to kind of fit someone else. So the thing is, you go out there and you do what you like to do, and what you're best at first. It's hard for. It doesn't matter what the other person can do. So and I've had last minute opponent changes before. I've had an opponent change the day of like 1 hour before weigh-in. So that's something that either way, I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm coming to fight. I've got people that want to see me fight. I want to fight. So regardless, I'm ready. So if that happens, we'll do it.
What's your weight at right now? How much left do you have to cut?
Honestly, I don't know what I weigh. I usually don't really step on a scale until I don't really pay attention to my weight until maybe like the week before or a week and a half to 2 weeks at the most, because I'm small for my weight class. So, and I work out so much, burn so many calories that, which is a great thing for me because I don't have to worry about, I don't have to stress about if I'm going to make weight. There's no reason why I should make weight. But regardless, whether I had to lose 30 pounds, there's no reason why I shouldn't make weight because that's what I signed up to do. So, and that's kind of pretty important part of fighting. You got to make the weight to fight. But I'm small, so I usually cut at most 15 pounds. That's not much. I wrestled my whole life, so that's something that's not really a big deal. But one good thing about not cutting a lot of weight, as I mentioned before, is it doesn't mess with my cardio, because if I can only hit a max amount of 150, by the time I get back in there, I'm probably going to be 147, 148. I'm going to be close to 150, and I'm not going to be super sluggish. I'm used to that weight, used to weighing that. So, regardless, I'm going to be okay. So I usually, to answer your question, I'm not sure right now. I might be like 12, 13 over right now, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's nothing, and you've clearly shown in the past that making weight is not an issue for you. Let's talk about your opponent. This is a really interesting matchup for your UFC debut. He's 15-2. Both guys that he lost to are in the top 10 of the bantamweight division. Aljamain Sterling and Pedro Munoz. Neither one of them can finish this guy. He went the distance with both of them, and you said that your goal for 2020 is to finish all of your fights in the UFC, whether it's by knockout, whether it's by submission, however it happens, that's what your goal is. What does a win and a finish do for you in the bantamweight standings? Is that a statement like, hey, I'm Tony Gravely, I'm a top 10 guy, I'm here?
Absolutely. I mean, that's like you said, he's fought 2 top 10 guys and they didn't finish him. Those are 2 top 10 guys that are really tough. I do think that I push the pace more than they do. The pressure's a little different. Mine's very smothering. Don't really give people room, and he's also a pressure fighter as well. So that's going to be interesting. I think he pushes forward too. He's pretty flat-footed like me. Not a lot of movement, which I'm excited for. But yeah, a finish would definitely show that I'm here to stay. I'm here and I'm ready to make some waves. And I'm excited for that. And that on top of him not being finished, that's another goal right there. You get somebody that's never been finished before. All right, I'm gonna be the first one. And I feel like my pressure is a little different. Like I said, different from those guys. Different from Aljamain, different from Pedro Munoz. I think I push harder and I don't stop. Alger's a little different. He's longer, so he kind of plays the outside a little bit. I'm the opposite from that. Pedro's not long, but I think in his fight he let him rest too much. I don't let people rest much, and I don't let him rest any at all. That's what that constant pressure, that constant building up is how you finish people too. Anybody can go out. You can go out there and you can knock people out from the start, which that would be great. I would love to get over it quick, but it's that constant building of pressure, like stacking blocks, kind of pressure that is the way that you finish somebody that has never been finished. You put them in a situation where they can't recover, and they're constantly feeling like they're just being drug into quicksand. They're constantly getting. The more they work, the harder it is for them. So until they either quit or either their mind quits or their body quits or they both quit. So. But I'm looking forward to that. Like I said, that's another task, another challenge that I'm ready to conquer.
Now, without giving away your game plan, where do you think you hold the biggest advantages in this fight? Or is there a hole that you see in his game where you just feel like you're going to be able to exploit that come fight night?
I feel like this is always the case. I feel like obviously my wrestling I wrestle majority of my life. That's where where people think I'm the most dangerous. I think because of my wrestling is so strong and people are so used to that, they underestimate my striking. They think that I'm one dimensional, but I can strike. People, I think they forget that. And strikers go in there and we'll be fighting, and they're ready for wrestling, and they're aware and trying to avoid it. Then I hit him, and they're like, "Oh man, he can strike too," And I think he's almost every fighter is gonna approach me in the way that I'm gonna down, and eventually I'm sure I will, but I don't think there's anything that they can do about it. It's constant. It's pressure for wrestling. It's striking pressure. It's constant pressure, regardless. You can't cover everything at once. So, and I'm gonna go out there and push. I think that I think obviously on the ground is where I'm big threat, I guess, in anyone's eyes. But on the feet, I'm just as dangerous. People just haven't quite seen it as much, but I'm just as dangerous on the feet as
So obviously you're predicting a finish here. Otherwise, your 2020 goal goes out the window in the first month of the year. So are you going to submit him, or are you going to knock him out? Are you going to showcase those hands that you're talking about?
I don't know. I'm an I'm an opportunistic fighter. Wherever I see the weakness, wherever that hole is getting bigger or is opening up the most, that's what I'm going to take. So I'm going to constant pressure somebody until they're going to eventually start showing things that they shouldn't show. They're not expecting to show. And whether it's a knockout or he leaves his neck out or a limb out, doesn't matter. I'm going to take whatever I expose. I'm going to take it, and I'm going to do my best to get a finish, and that's the goal. Regardless whether it's by hands, we're standing and I knock him out, or we're on the ground and I knock him out, submit him, doesn't matter. I'm looking for either way. I'm looking for the finish, but patiently.
Well, I can speak for a lot of people here in the New England area. We're all very eagerly anticipating you to make your UFC debut. It's been a long time coming. Can't wait. Obviously, nothing but the best for you in this fight and moving forward. Before I let you go, I know you got a lot of people that support you. I know with the UFC now, sponsorships get kind of tricky, but anyone you want to thank, if you want to plug your social media, as always, my friend, the floor is yours.
I'll go ahead and plug my social media first because I like to do long thank yous. Tony Gravely 135. It's on Instagram, Twitter, and it's also Facebook too. Tony Gravely 135. So any likes, shares, follows, all that stuff, I truly appreciate the support. Like to thank my wife that she's a major factor in my success and what I do as far as my weight down. That's one. If she's cooking healthy food, it's hard not to have your weight down in a good shape. She, other than that, she supports me 1,000%, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, all that stuff. It'd be hard to do what I do and be successful without her. My coach, Perry Gibson, also my coaches at Virginia Tech, Coach Freyer, Coach Roby, those guys help me out. Perry helps me out, my striking and everything else. He's like a father figure as well. I couldn't be where it'd be hard to be where I am without him as well. My parents, obviously, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my parents. They've been super supportive. Also, my in-laws, they've been just as supportive. To not only have two parents, but four parents that help you, help you in everything you do, and it's amazing. My family, friends, coaches, teammates, everybody that pushes me mentally, physically. I couldn't be more happy, more grateful to have the support that I have. Everybody that's planning on coming to the fight, everybody that purchased tickets, everybody that hasn't purchased tickets, please purchase tickets. So I'm excited. I can't wait to face my new skills and everything in front of people that either have seen me fight before or haven't seen me fight. Either way, I feel like it's going to be different. I'm constantly improving. So I'm just excited for it all. I'm super excited. Thank you for the interview, for the opportunity again. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Hey, it's always a pleasure talking to you, buddy. I wish you nothing but the best. Go get this win, and we'll be doing this again soon.
Thank you. I truly appreciate it.